have Lace is coming in. So, hello. So this is, hey, it takes a bit because,
Hello.
yeah, this is the first time. Sorry, the band is still here. Yeah, so this is the first time we with, this setup. So we're using StreamYard. In case you don't know, that is something very similar to Zoom, but you can customize it a little bit more than Zoom. So we're testing this new setup. So if there's any hiccup, so please bear with it, and we'll be here. And also, Lace is having a slow internet, but she'll improve it soon, right?
I'm sorry about that, guys. It's it's just pandemic days, internet connection.
Yeah. And internet in Dublin is not always good. Like it's also a
No.
problem for UK, and I just spent lots of money trying to get a better service provider. So yeah, it's a pain. Anyway, that's enough of the renting of
Well,
internet. We are in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week. We have Meet Pi, and we're gonna talk about
ex-
news about Python, and we'll have an interview in like maybe 10 minutes or so. And that will be
okay.
Lay's first interview. We
Yes.
have a very special guest. We have Nicole, the organizer of Pi Amsterdam, and I will let Lays
Yes.
introduce him after, and we can watch the interview. So today we have quite a lot of news, and Lays prepared lots of them, but I gotta share my screen so you can see. Right?
Did I? Yeah, I'm the person who loves typing around. So, yeah, I think I got a few things that I found out that were happening around the Python world today. I mean, for this week.
Yeah, and so the first thing I think is that we have like the talks from EuroPython that is announced, and it's have get quite a lot of attention online. I would say that's from Twitter, and we got quite a lot of diverse topics. We have Django, we have a lot of things. We have my talk about like how to design a query language. We have IPython. We have pandas. That's Ian's talk. And memory address. This is Mriju. It's like also she's amazing. I think she's quite like new in public speaking, but she already do a very good job. And yeah, we have Stefan, of course. We have all these amazing speakers that we have
Yeah,
around the world.
that Hitchhiker's Guide on Python. I saw that book. I think that was a book initially, and I saw that book, and it seems quite interesting because it's just a guide. So it seems like a cool one, and yours seems very excited as well.
And Tanya is here as well, Docker and Python. So Tanya will be our guest next week, and she is one of my best friend in the dev world. And
I thought it was me.
yeah, like I said, one off. So I have quite a lot of good friends. So yeah. And yeah, we got like and the good thing about your Python is that this is not just it. This is not just it. Actually, we have the second CFP is still open. So if you're in other part of the world, if you're in another time zone, then then this is this is
That's your chance.
yes, this is your chance. And yeah, it was like you still got a few days. It's on 20th of May, which is next week.
Yeah.
So please, I know that some people are already like interested, and we'll be submitting, and I'm sure that we will have more exciting talks coming soon. So yeah, please, check it out. Even if you're in Europe, you can still apply. It's just that you may be having a time slot that is not your conference time. But
Yes.
some people it may be better because some people may think that, oh, I want to do it in the middle of the night because my kid will be sleeping. I have some free time.
Yeah.
So yeah, still
That's on
submit.
you. Yeah, you
Yeah.
should decide. But it's a great opportunity anyhow, because well, it's a third chance to get your proposal into your Python. So please.
Yeah, and we want to see more good talks and more diverse topics. So great. And the next thing I think we were talking about the data workshop that I I run. Actually, I run with two other friends, Sandrine and John, and it's the part one last Saturday, and the feedback was very good, and I do think that there's a need of these data workshop that we need more for people who really want to get started to learn Python and learn how to use Python in getting power from the data. I think this is quite important.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that well done, my co-organizers. Is very good, and we'll have the second part this weekend. So yeah, that's it.
And there's something else happening this weekend, isn't it?
And yeah, we have the mentored sprint. So
Yes.
yes, the mentored sprint is actually like almost at the same time as our second part workshop, but and I will still be involved in this mentored sprint. That we have a lot of application for the project and for the participants. So I think that you could still apply, because we have lots of slots, and I think you can still apply to be a participant, either a mentor or a contributor. So yeah, so it will be quite a big thing. I think one of the it was very popular last year in PyCon in where was it? It's not so this year's Pittsburgh. Last year I forgot where it is. Somewhere very near to Pittsburgh, also in the U.S.
Okay.
of course. But it was super popular, and that's why we have this. I think it's in Bay Area, is it? I can't remember. But yeah, anyway,
Okay.
yeah, like we have, that's why we plan to have a rerun, but it goes online, and Tanya will also be there as well. So if you're interested, please yeah,
Well, I'm
feel free.
going. I'm
Yeah.
going, so I'll tell you. I'll let you know how it's going to be. And there is a slot for suggestions of projects that you'd like to contribute on open source. And I
Hmm.
actually said I would like to contribute to Terminus DB because I never submitted that.
Well, things
I've
like
never.
yeah, Terminus DB is not one of the workshops here, and because I'm too busy recently, and we kind of we still need some time to, because we are evolving into our second hub version. So maybe like when things got more stable, we can have more contributors. And right now, we would just you know, this is a very good start. If you have never contributed to open source project, I think this is really good. So why would you like to contribute to an open source project? Because you have a very nice, GitHub map of your green dots that you contributed. But reason other than that, you can get benefits in real life. You learn a lot of stuff. You collaborate with a lot of people. You into a very nice community, and also it may help you in your future career, because like employers may check your GitHub profile. So if you have contributed to open source, I think
Yeah.
that's a really big plus. So why not have fun and join the mentored sprint and contribute to open source.
When I was
um,
when I was interviewing Nico,
yeah
we actually talked about this for a while. He was saying that he is doing, he's looking for people to work in the company that he's working now. And he said that he looks at people that are contributing to open source. That's a big
yeah
differential for him on getting a job now. So newbies,
yeah
univos, and let's contribute to open source.
yeah, there are headhunters that go on GitHub as well. So so if you especially for people who just started, like you want to get your first job as a developer, then you don't have a lot of things to show. Then you could show that I have contributed open source. I'm not a blank canvas. Like I know how to work with people in developing software because I work in open source. So that's a very good thing, especially for younger people that maybe just started, or not younger in the age, but like younger in the experience with the industry. That's a really good start. So so that's that. And a microphone problem. I think Lay's connection is not as good. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. But yeah, I
Yeah.
see a spinning wheel on my screen from time to time as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
So
sorry.
Lay's tips, if your internet is too slow, maybe you want to switch off your camera so we can still hear you. I think that's more important. We love your beautiful face, but
Perfect.
if the internet doesn't allow, we have to just like get your voice instead. Okay, so and other news, I think it's
Can you
something
see
related
me?
to. I can hear you. That's better. Yeah, and
Perfect. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I could see a spinning wheel on my screen, but I couldn't do anything about it. I'm sorry. But
yeah,
yes, sorry. Next, more news.
yeah. Naomi, and you know that our beloved Naomi, the chair of the PSF, and she already like told me before that you know she's going to step down after this chair period ended, and she will be wanting someone to step up to become a new chair. So that's very I don't know, like I can't say that exciting because we love Naomi, but I think it's a healthy way of running the community if we have people that kind of cycling that we have new people coming in and bring new insight and kind of continue this Python leadership.
Yeah,
That's actually
it
great. Yeah.
it's a new cycle, isn't it? She's trying to start a new cycle, and it's admirable because well, she wrote a letter, and her letter is actually really touching as well. It's quite interesting to see her perspective on why she's leaving. But it's a good start. It's a new start, so it's interesting because of that. And we hope that whatever happens, it happens for the best. And we love Naomi anyway, whether she's part of the community or not. So
Yeah, I do believe she will still be teaching, and I think she loved teaching, and she did really good workshops. By the way, if you haven't know that yet, Naomi started teaching Python on Twitch as well. So go to her, like you can find the link from her Twitter. I think her handle is Ann Cedar, that you can go and watch her. She won't be doing this Friday because she's taking a break, but she said that she will come back. And I attend last Friday and last Friday, and it's really good. So I highly recommended that. And so yeah, and hope that she will still be teaching, and we will still kind of we can still watch her talk, and she'll be speaking at EuroPython as a keynote speaker. So don't miss that. We all love
yes.
her. And what else do we have? Sorry, I have to look at the agenda. We do have an agenda. Yes. Oh, volunteers. Leif, do you want to like call for volunteers?
Yes, absolutely. So
If I can mute
we,
myself.
as you all know, as you all know, we are part of Chuck is part of the committee of EuroPython. I'm part of the volunteers, and we are also involved with the organization of Pyjamas. But we are in need of volunteers, guys, especially now that we're going to run the tracks online. And we need moderators and the people that would like to just interact with other people and maybe do a little bit of moderation on the tracks and chat a little bit. It would be amazing. If you don't think you would have those skills, if you don't want to do anything related to that, we also need people to help on website building, and not for EuroPython, but for PyJamas a bit more. But there are plenty of things to be done, and this is kind of like collaborating to an open source as well. Being part of the community, contributing to the community is also a big differential on your career, whatever it is that you decide to do after it. And we love volunteering. So yes, we'd love to have you there. So if you would like to, just send us a message and we'll get you in touch with the rest of the guys. Please volunteer.
Yeah, so that's wrap up with our news section. So you got the news and know that what's going on in the community. And now we go to the main dish of this meat pie. So it's the interview, and it's very exciting. So maybe Lace, you can introduce like a little bit about your guests, and what's the feeling of doing a first interview? Is it exciting or nervous or?
Absolutely. I mean, I had you as an inspiration for my interviewing. So it was a little bit of a daunting task because I was watching your interviews with your like the previous Meet Hall of Fame with Super with Michael and with the other guys and with Naomi as well. And it was a little bit daunting, yes. I felt challenged by it. But it was a lot of fun. Anyhow, Nico is so active everywhere. Like he's part of the Argentinian Python community. He's part of he was the founder of Pi Amsterdam. There was the first community-driven, the only community-driven Python community in Amsterdam right now. And he's done a few other things, bits and pieces as well in the computer world, and it was amazing. There's a lot of stuff that we talked about, and yes, so I think we should just go and watch it now.
Yeah, sure. Okay, let's watch this interview, and I hope that the audio and video works. If anything happen, please let me know in the chat, and I will fix it because this is new. Okay, so without further ado, let's go.
English Pie, and I have Nicolas here with me today. Welcome, Nicolas.
Hello, thank you for having me.
No worries at all. Well, welcome. Thank you very much for saying yes. It's a pleasure to be interviewing you here today. So Nico is part of Pi Amsterdam, and he's from Argentina, and he's been doing some stuff as well. Actually, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself. I think you're gonna be better.
Okay, I think I can do that. So I'm Nico. I'm from Argentina. I'm from not from Buenos Aires. I'm from a small town. It's 5 hours by car. I'm always use that reference because it's Europe is so small, you know. And so I'm living in Amsterdam now. In the last year, I've been living in Amsterdam. And then if you drive a car for 5 hours from Amsterdam, you can go to Paris. And in Argentina, you can go to my town, but that's still the center of the country. So I'm currently living in Amsterdam. I'm here in Amsterdam. I'm hosting with some friends the Pi Amsterdam meetup. And I'm also part of the Argentina community. And I'm here, but I'm still doing some stuff with the Python Argentina community. I'm the person maintaining all the servers and the email and the web page, etc. So that's
A very active
and
user,
and
yes.
for sure I have a lot of friends there that I miss. So I'm trying to be in contact always. Um, yeah, and then Pi Amsterdam is so Python Argentina is a big community. It's huge, you know. And it has been there for a long time, like more than 10 years or I think or 12. I don't remember the exact number, but there were
Cool.
more like there were like 10 Python national conference. There is events every year, really nice events. So, but then I moved to Amsterdam, and for me it was weird because you know this is Guido's country, so this is is Guido and Rosum country, and there was no Python community at all. So of course there is some events. I know there is PyData, there is a Pigrunen. Sure, it's impossible for me to use that name, but it's something like that.
It's your Dutch coming along, yes.
Yeah, that's a conference, but there is no such thing as a community in the way I was used to, like having a mailing list or a discourse or wherever, a chat, and being able to talk with each other. But then the good news is I found two persons. So Jan, he's from Czech Republic, and Wojtek from Poland, and they were already hosting a meetup, and I joined them, and we have been hosting the meetup for more than a year now. We did like a meetup every month, and in the last weeks, in the last months, no weeks, so the last 6 weeks with the lockdown, we were hosting that online. We did for a few weeks, every week a meetup. It was a lot of fun, and slowly we are starting to have like the community feeling I really like for Python. So
Yeah.
yeah, and then so I was introducing myself. Sorry. So I work as a Python developer. Uh, I consider myself a developer, but it's also true that I work in sysadmin or DevOps or that kind of things for a long time. I'm working here in a training company in the infrastructure teams. I'm a team lead there. Uh, I before in Argentina I worked in a startup, a really nice startup that is building satellites. So the funny part or the part that is everyone likes it. So I wrote Python code that is running in the space. So that's super
That's
cool.
the catch line, yes.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
I try to speak in some conference about the Python in space, but there is not a lot to say. It's okay. It, you can do that. It's useful. Python works in space, and that's all.
But I really like what what the company that you're working for was doing though, because they were building inexpensive satellites that like could be produced in mass, wasn't it?
Yeah. So Satellogic is a Argentinian startup. They are doing micro satellites. So that's so you have like a nano satellite, it's like this size, and a micro satellite is like a dishwasher size. And they have a different payload, different cameras that you can use to take images of the Earth. And the difference is like the space industry is like quite old, and they I don't know they are they build big satellites that are like the size of a car or bigger,
Okay.
and the way that they do the development is like really old school. And what
Okay.
Satellogic is doing is using building cheap satellites with really nice qualities. So they have 1 meter per pixel quality. If you
That's very
if
good
you look at
quality.
the yeah, and then if you compare that with the competence, I would say that Satellogic is probably 15 times or more cheaper. And that's because the
Good.
size, because you need to put your satellite in a rocket and send it to space. So that's you pay
Um,
like a I don't know if you need to send a box, you pay for weight of that. So for satellite is
but how do you
similar.
launch? How do you launch a box though? Like it's the same.
No, no,
It's
no, no. But it's a so they piggyback in other rockets. So you
okay.
have a rocket that is launching like I think the last years they were launching with China. So China is launching a rocket with a big satellite, and you piggyback in some
Okay.
small space with your small satellite because they have space.
Okay. And then like the applications you were writing for that were mainly for what?
So I work in the team that was building all the tooling to operate the satellites. So there was application in the ground for to communicate with satellites, and then microservices inside the satellite to do basic tasks like transferring files and executing
Oh.
commands. But those tasks that are seems easy, they are harder when you have because at the end you have Linux servers. You know, we have 6 Linux servers in one satellite, but this satellite is doing a full orbit around the Earth every 1 hour and a half,
Okay.
and then every time you have antenna to talk with them is 10 minutes. So in those
Um,
10 minutes, you have a link that is probably similar to a dial-up to operate. So of course there is a link to download images, but it's a lot faster. But to operate is like I would say a dial-up. So of course it's a big challenge. So we did from scratch different custom protocols or different things to be able to operate them. So that was a lot of fun. So I learned a lot. I worked with a really nice team. I still have friends there. So that was
that's
super cool.
amazing. That's so cool. Because yeah, but it was very sysadmin already of you
Yeah,
like
yeah. I was so Teloshi was weird, right? So was sysadmin, but I don't consider myself a sysadmin because I don't know. I know that so good I know persons. I have persons working with that they know every detail of a Linux server and low level things. So I've been doing more automation and that kind of things for a long time. But it's also true that in Satellogic and in my current job, I was also in a lead position. So I'm doing more soft things like soft skill things like um, in a lead position you are not writing code every day. You know?
yes, yes, it's more of a management thing. Yes,
But
absolutely.
I would say probably my first job a long time ago was more sysadmin. I would say,
Okay.
but yes, but then I did more software most of the time or automation or like.
And tell me something I'm really curious about is like how did the love for Python started? How did you
Oh,
start on Python?
okay. That's interesting. So I think I joined it. So Python Argentina in the now the mailing list is migrated to this course, but we have a mailman like any other. And I joined that list a long time ago. I don't remember, like probably 2005 or something like that.
Okay.
I was a lurker there, like just reading, and so I was living in Rosario. That's like a second city in Argentina. And
I've
in
been there, yeah.
2011, I moved to in Rosario. I was helping with the Mozilla community. We did some release parties for Firefox. I was doing some testing for Firefox, that kind of things. Also, I was being part of the Linux user groups, but in that time, the Linux user groups, they were not nice. You know, you were going there. No, but that's the reason I like the Python community. So I think it's a good example. So first time I went to a meeting, like an open source project, was the Linux user group in Rosario, and yeah, and they were like, I was asking questions, like basic questions, because I was trying to install Linux in my computer. So that was like 1999. I don't know, long time ago. So it was not easy. It was no Ubuntu at that time. And they were yelling to you, "Oh, you're an idiot. You don't know how to do it." Or, like measuring who is the best one. And
For
when
real?
I joined the Python community, everyone was ready to help you. And now that I'm living in Amsterdam, I know people from other parts of the world, like I know you, or I know people from Spain or other Python communities. It's the same everywhere. Everyone is happy to help you, even if you have the most silly question ever.
Well, you were
Um,
amazing. Like I ask you all the silly questions all the time, and you always answer. So
okay, yeah, but it shows. So the Python community has that feature that is really nice. In Argentina, for me, that was a big difference. So I moved to Buenos Aires in 2011, I think, to work in a company there. And then in Buenos Aires, it was there were more active users. And yeah, and I started participating in some meetings. I did a course with Facundo, he's my friend now, but at that time I know him from that course. He was teaching like a Python there, because that time was I would say my first job working like full time with Python,
okay,
like in 2011 or
11.
2012
Okay.
or something like that. Yeah, and then with Facundo, I meet the community and I started participating in events and organizing events, and then I never stopped. Um, in Argentina, we have this event that is the PyCamp. I
PyCamp,
think
yes.
personally, I think it's best Python event ever in the world. So if anyone wants to organize a PyCamp, just ping me because I would love to.
Well,
So
we are organizing PyCamp. We're organizing PyCamp Brazil, isn't it?
that would be amazing. I would love to. I would love to. So like PyCamp Bahia or something like that.
Yes, PyCamp Bahia. For everyone that is from Brazil that is watching this, let's do this.
Yeah,
PyCamp Bahia.
we need someone to find a place. So the PyCamp is like a 4 days. Usually you need to pick like a place that is far from the city, but then you need food, internet, of course, power, tables. So the basic things, and a place to sleep. And then you have 4 days. The first day, everyone is like proposing things, like projects to work on, and then you work in that project for 4 days in a row, and that's amazing. But the best example I have to say why the PyCam is a nice event is my experience, because I went to the first PyCam I think in 2014,
Okay.
and I worked in that PyCam so I knew the Satellogic guys there, so they were building the first, second, or third satellite. So I was like having lunch the first day, and everyone said, "Okay, who you are, what you do," and these guys, "Oh yes, we are building satellites." Like, wow, that was really cool.
Take
And
me with
a
you.
year after, I was working with them, so that was. But then I spent like a day working on a project with Juanjo, and this guy was an ex-Google developer, committer in the Linux kernel, working in Canonical at that time. And then I worked with other guys that were working in really big companies like Canonical and Google, I don't know. And and they were really, really friendly and happy to help you, and I learned a lot there. So I think that event is a really good example of what the Python community is. So everyone is happy to help you. It's an inclusive community. It's diverse. So the Python community is doing a big effort to be more diverse.
Yeah.
Argentina, I think, is a really good example. We were doing really big effort and fighting still with some legacy persons uh, because of that. But so I think that's the reason. And then it's also amazing language to work. It's like I never found a project that then Python was not usable for me. Maybe I'm not doing something really complex, but yeah. So it's nice to work, but again, it's the community, it's the Python Software Foundation, is that the software is open source, is maintained by the community, is designed by the community. So there is a lot of small parts that they make Python so nice. And
Yes.
I don't know if you look at other languages, it's like for JavaScript, the NMP that so the pack is owned by a company. It's like pip. You can imagine like if pip were owned by a
By
company,
anyone.
that would be crazy. And that's not happening in Python because they were taking good decisions in the past.
Yes, and that they work very hard to make not only those decisions, but like some very low level decisions as well, as in how are the syntax of the new decorators going to work, or
Yeah, for sure. But also working for the community. That's
yes.
also like the PSF is giving grants to all communities all around the world. So there is an effort to maintain that. So I'm I think that's why I'm still here. So
And there's a really tough time as well for the Python Software Foundation with all the cancellations and
mhm.
all the pandemic going on around now. And
Yeah, I think that was a big problem because I would say that all the money that the Python Software Foundation is using to help other communities is coming from PyCon, and they suspended that. So it's not going to be easy, but for sure they are going to. It's not going to be easy for anyone, not only for the Python Software Foundation.
exactly. And
So
that's why
maybe
we're
I don't know. I
sorry.
think I have a privilege that I have a work that I can keep working. It's not different for me, but there is a lot of people that is going to have real
Yes.
problems.
And that's why as well we keep asking everyone so if they can donate or if they can donate money or can donate time to the community to help building the community and giving back all the amazing things that we get from Python every single day, especially the guys that get to work with Python, like professionally work.
Yes. So for me, that's one of the reasons that. So I have an open source project. I think I do that more for fun, but then I spend a lot of time in the Python community.
Oh, you
And
do? Do you want to tell us more? Do you want to tell us more about all the projects that are involved with the community right now? Because I'm in a
okay,
few
right
with
now.
you. So let's do this count. Let's go.
Okay, so by Amsterdam, I'm doing not a lot, but some things for the Python Argentina community. I'm a volunteer in the EuroPython. That's in July. We are starting the organization for Pyjamas. That's going to be in December. So full day in Pyjamas online conference.
Yes. Flaskon.
Um, Flaskon. And we have started the Python documentation official Spanish translation, and that's going really, really nice. So if anyone is interested in working there, just please contact me because we started like 2 weeks ago, and now we have 100% of the tutorial already translated. That means that in a short time, in the official docs.python.org is going to be a Spanish option. So now you have Portuguese, Japanese, French. I think those are the languages that are maintained. We already have the tutorial ready to use. So to be honest, there is Python Argentina was maintaining the tutorial for 12 years probably, but we were not using the official format. So we did like a migration to the official format using the .po files. And now the volunteers are finishing the upgrade to Python 3.8. So I think next week we are going to have it finished because it's like at 95% now. And good news is that a lot of people is joining, and we are building like all the tooling to be able to collaborate. So that project is I'm using a lot of time there now. I think that's all. It's probably,
That's all. Yeah. Well, I hope so. I've seen the progress that the official translation of the documentation is doing, and it's incredible. I saw some news on Twitter, and it's pretty solid work. Like, congratulations, guys! You're doing very, very
yeah.
well.
So there is a huge, really nice team, and I'm really happy that there's people from Spanish speakers from different countries. So it's not like a Spanish Spain or Spanish Argentina.
Hmm.
It's so if you I think if you read the documentation and you are a Spanish speaker, it's going to be weird because sometimes you're going to have some words from Spain and some words from Argentina, and I really like the diversity there. So I'm really happy with that. It's not a it's a Spanish diverse multinational translation.
Yes, because Argentina does not speak Spanish, right? Because Argentina speaks Argentinian, and
Now,
that's it.
now we speak Spanish. It's yeah, I don't know. It's any country has his small difference. Even in Argentina, if you are in the center and you go to the north, it's a big difference.
Oh
So
no, yes,
so
yes.
it's,
So it
it's
was
I think that I don't know probably with English it's the same, but it's not possible for me
yes.
to feel the difference. Only small things, but with Spanish is yeah. I can speak probably fast, and a person from Spain would miss 50% of my
Well,
slang.
yeah, I don't really get it that well, and I understand a little bit of Spanish from Spain. But when you're speaking, it for me it's a bit challenging sometimes. But well, despacio, a little bit of like
Yeah. Hola,
a little
hola.
slower, yes, a little bit slower, and I can get it. Well, I think like just to finish now, I think I have one last question for you.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you mentioned before, but you are self-taught,
Yeah.
right? So you started coding by yourself, and you've been in this journey for a while now. Uh,
Yeah, so that's interesting. So I got an email from human resources in my company asking me to fill my background because seems that they were checking. I have no title there, so
okay.
they were saying, "Oh, this is a mistake, probably." Um,
No.
so I finished in my high school in 2001. So that was if you check Argentina economy at that time, that was not easy. But then I went to Rosario to study. And so Rosario is a big city. In my town, there is no university. So I did a few years there in the university, but then I left and I went to work. I worked in a shop that they were selling computers. So I was working like doing the IT support in different companies. And then at some point I moved back to Rosario. I started working in a company, and then I tried to finish my university. I would like to because I was learning, but to be honest, it was also not easy for me. It was uh, following the formal education is not easy for me. But then I I was using the tools. I was using the language. Of course I did some course. I read books and yeah. So that I I I I consider myself a developer now. If you ask me,
Mm-hmm.
maybe in the past I would be more shy to say that. And yeah, and I learned to stop feeling this thing that okay, I don't have a title and that's maybe
Yes.
different. Um, but yeah, so I've been learning for a long time. I think university, the most important tool is that they teach you how to learn. So in a way, if you know how to learn,
Yeah.
then in the kind of if you work in software or in technology, you need to be learning full time.
Yes.
Uh, so in that way, it's just after so many years. So I've been working in IT for a long time. So
Yes.
I think my first official job was I don't know 2005 or 2004, but official like working 8 hours or 9 hours in a
Mm-hmm.
company. But before when I was a teenager, I was already working. I also work for a lot of different things. Like I work in a bakery, or in doing the delivery for the newspapers, or in constructions. I don't know. I did many things. But yeah, so I don't have a university title. I think
Yes.
I think it's really common now. It's not so weird.
No.
I don't know, and in Python there is also a lot of people that they come from different
Backgrounds.
backgrounds.
Yes.
I,
And
I,
sorry.
I love that. It's really nice.
Yeah, and also the fact that like companies like Apple and Google now just dropped as well the requirement for like college diplomas on
Mhm.
their curriculum. But which advice would you have then for beginners, like for people that are
Hmm.
studying now that don't really feel like going to college because it's not for them, and they're doing
Mhm.
something else like delivering newspapers, and they really think that sending a satellite with some code that you write to space is super cool.
So
What would you tell them?
uh, I did a talk, like I give that talk in a lot of times, because it was related with us. So there is a open source software that Satoshi did. I worked there. I was using that software because it was sexy. Space is sexy, so people is, oh, it's a talk about the space. I'm going to listen about that. But then the talk was about the library, but the message I was trying to tell there is, okay, I'm doing these complex things with mathematics. I'm doing some crazy things, and complex calculation, or because it was a library to follow where a satellite is, basically. And then my message said, okay, I can do this thing. So any other person will be able to do, because I'm not a genius. I'm not a super smart person. So I don't know. My advice for someone is starting would be like, just persist. It's like, if you I don't remember how many hours you need to spend working something to to be an expert. It's like
10,000.
10,000. Yes, probably not 10,000, but the Python community is really easy to. It's a really good, nice community to find something to do. There is a lot of projects that you can join, and just be persistent. It's like I think the most, in a way, is what I was saying about the PyCamp. So you talk to a person, you sit together with someone, and this person is teaching you how to do some tricks in the shell. So I remember Juanjo was teaching me how to do some tricks in the Linux shell, and my feeling was that this person was the same that for me, was like an equal for me.
Yes.
And then next day I learned that this guy was like a super famous engineer. Like he was contributing to the Linux kernel. So I think what the most important advice would be, Guido is also a normal person. It's just
Yes.
he was just probably having a really long winter and time. So and being persistent for sure. So I would say the advice would be that, just that one. So learn how to use the time, and find help, because people is going to help you, and collaborating in open source project, I think, is the best that you can do, because everything you learn there you can use in a real job later. I'm,
Wonderful.
I'm usually I'm doing interviews, and for me it's a plus if a person is working in an open source project. For me it's a plus, because I know that person knows how to communicate, how to send an email, how to read an email, how to participate in a project. So I think that's a really good place to start.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. That was a great tip. Thank you.
Cool.
And yeah, it's not that hard actually to start on contributing to open source projects. It's a simple pull request, and it is like, once it starts, it's a little bit addictive as well. You just get there, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
there's more stuff to do, more issues.
Mhm.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much for taking the time. Thank you very much for answering those questions. Those were amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. That was really nice to talk with you, and thank you for all the things that you're doing, because I'm seeing you also like participating in like 1 trillion different events and things. So thank you for using your time for the Python community. We really need people like you. So
Well, it's
and
because
thank
of
you for
people
having
like
me.
you. It's because of people like you. So we're helping each other. So thank you. Thank you
Okay.
very much. Well, bye bye.
Okay. See you. Bye.
So, hey, we are back.
Hello. So yeah, did you
Yeah,
enjoy that?
yeah, that's really good. That's you have done a very good job. Well done. And yeah, we have Nico in the chat as well. Yeah, yeah, it's very nice. It's very nice. And yeah, we have Nico in the chat, and I think it's amazing. Thank you, Nicole. And this is really, really good, interesting stuff that you told us about. All the things that you have done in the past, and also the Linux user group. I'm so sorry for them. And yeah, I've heard like like similar comment before as well. So it's not just you. So I do believe some people also have the same feeling about the difference in the community. And so let's go to our yes, what do you call again? Okay, the PyPI highlights. Yeah, so
Yes. Would you like to start, or would you like me to start?
I have started. So this one is Lasers library. Could you give us a introduction?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So perfect. So before I start talking about that necessarily, let me tell you guys that I started learning how to program in Java. So my background is in object-oriented programming. And in college, we're doing some, like, I had a module for data structures, and then now I'm finishing my module for design patterns. And with the whole design patterns, I decided then I annoyed my teacher as much as I could to ask him for permission to use Python instead of using Java on my application. Yes, they called me the Python freak in my classroom.
You
I
should take
swear.
it as an honor. You should take it as an honor.
I
Okay.
do, I do. Yeah, so the challenge then was to find out how to implement um, design patterns in Python, because there is a little bit of a discussion, and some people say that design patterns are actually not necessary for Python for when you're writing Python code, because all those functionalities are already embedded on the programming language. So you wouldn't need a pattern like a design a scaffold to actually do anything. So I was doing, but my assignment needs to be done with design patterns. So I was looking for a midway over there since I decided to use Python. Then I looked around and I saw this possibly in C Sharp. There is another object-oriented programming language. I found out that they have an event handler. There is basically a thing inside of your, I know my description, Chuck is so mad at my descriptions on program. But let's call it a thing for today. They have this function that you can just set it in the middle of the code, and it's going to tell you when a behavior changes. So but that's what the observer pattern is in Java. And I found out that they had that in C Sharp. So I was like, okay, so how would I implement this on Python? And then I found events, this lovely, lovely library that it's basically a module that you import, and it imports the functionality of the observer pattern into your code. So instead of hard coding the functions and then putting a flag there for every time a behavior changes or something happens, you just import the module events and write that very small function over there. So it's just defining something changed and put an argument inside of that function and call it when something actually changes. Call it when you want something to be triggered. And
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's an event handler,
yes.
kind of. Yeah. So yeah, this is actually very helpful if you're writing a game in Python. I think it's like I have tried writing some games in the Python dojo before, because the organizer, like, he's a pro in writing games of Python. And everything is an event, because like if you have a kind of GUI UI, and everything needs to be a event handler. So that sounds very useful when you're doing gaming stuff. So
Yes,
talking
I'm
about
using,
gaming.
yeah, I'm
Sorry.
using for something else, but well, yeah, gaming works just as fine. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So talking about gaming, as I'm trying to tag to our second library, that is actually because gamers use Discord or not. a lot, and now like a lot of conference also use Discord. And like spoiler alert, I think your Python we will use Discord as well, and details will be out soon. So get the ticket. And, so yeah, so yeah, this is a Discord board that you could write, write in Python, and it will talk with the Discord API in this. So yeah, so just a little tool that help you if you want to write the board in Discord, and this is for you. Yeah.
It
Right.
seems so cool though, because like it's especially in conferences, it's something that is really necessary, isn't it, to avoid those queues.
Yeah, this is like I think that the Discord is very powerful when you have a lot of boards that could do the stuff for you. Because like Discord is very flexible in moderation, and if you have a big community, I think having a board to help you to enforce the moderation is very important. And yeah, so this is very cool stuff that I gotta maybe check it out. Like try to build maybe a board that I can play with, like a pet board, I would call it. So yeah, and
Yeah,
anything else?
that's my idea as well. I want a pet bot just to play with it in Discord when all my friends are offline and I want to chat to someone.
Yeah. So if there is another thing, I think this is more or less our Meet Pie, and like I was, maybe we can give a little bit of a trailer about like next week we will have Tanya Alad that we're gonna interview, and she is a PSF fellow. She is very engaging with the Python community. She also like do a lot of things for data as well. So she's also um, organizing things for our community. So she's super active. She's the developer avocado in Microsoft. So there will be a lot of interesting stuff going on. So yeah, please stay tuned for next week.
Yes. And if you use VS Code as well, she has an awesome thing called Pitaya Smoothie on VS Code that I found out about when I was listening to one of the podcasts about Docker one of these days. And it's so purple. Like if you like purple, you should just download the Pitaya Smoothie because it's the best.
She is the purple queen. Yeah. If you have met her, you know why. That's her personal brand, the purple. And yeah,
Yes.
we love her, and we will have her next week. So yeah, and also we have the Python tutorial on Sunday. That I am so glad that now it's like getting more attention and more people come in and watch, and I can really deliver some useful information for people. That's great. So and this week we'll talk about PyTest. Yeah, so please,
It's gonna
if
be
you
my introduction to tests.
yeah come in if you haven't done any tests in Python before, and or if you want to refresh your memories about PyTest if you haven't done it for a while. That's good. I would try to prepare better this week and stop doing it like in the middle of the night on Saturday. um, yeah, so
Well,
that's
it's been great so far. So if you're doing the middle of the night on Saturday, you could keep doing it because it's working. It's been really, really cool.
yeah. I think part of it being cool is that because people come in and like ask questions and in the chat, so really appreciate if you could join it live and let me know what's or maybe spot my mistake and help me debug, because that's live coding, right? This is always scary stuff to do live coding. So yeah, so thank you so much for supporting us and watching. And oh, by the way, we have a podcast version now. So we have, I'll put the link in the chat in a bit, so stay here for a little longer, and I'll also put it in the description so you know that you can listen to our previous interview if you have missed it, and you like, let's say you're busy with like doing stuff in the kitchen or fixing stuff, you can listen to our interviews in the past. So I would share the link. It's anchor dot actually it's anchor.fm/meet pie. So
Yes.
yeah, but I will put the link as well. So yeah.
Yes, and we are also, if you're looking for the videos, you can also find us on Chuck's YouTube and also on her website. And the link for the website is over here, close to her face over here. So
Yeah.
check.dev. Yes, check.dev, and all the videos are there, all the interviews are there. some of her really cool libraries are also there. So yeah, just keep clicking.
Yeah, thank you so much for supporting. And yeah, thank you,
Thanks
Lace.
for,
That thank you for your hard work. It's really good. So yeah,
thank
see
you.
you all next week.
Thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being amazing, Chuck.
Bye.
And bye bye. Bye bye bye.